First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight to celebrate Alice and Bradley. I also like to thank everybody that took their time to put this together for them. Bradley, I love you, buddy. I'm extremely proud of the man you've become. And I'm honored to be part of your and Alice's new life together. I wish y'all the best. And if anybody else would like to come up at this time, please do.
Hey, I'm not going to leave my buddy up here by himself. When Brad wanted to ask Alice to marry him, he called me about 5 times. And he said, "Rich, you want to go eat lunch?" I said, "No." And I would go home and Julie would say, "Brad called you today and he really needs to talk to you." I said, "I know," but he'd call me the next week. "Rich, you want to go eat lunch?" "No." After about 5 times, Julie said, "Rich, you got to go to eat lunch with him." I said, "I don't want to go eat lunch with him."
You got to pay.
So he finally asked me, called me and said, "Brett, you want to go to Holmes Hot Dogs?" "I love Holmes Hot Dogs." I said, "You buying?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "You sure?" "I'll go." So I get to the truck. He pulled up in front of Titex International. I get in the truck with him and go eat hot dogs. And we pulled back up to drop me off, and I'm getting out of the truck. He said, "Hey, Brett, don't get out. Don't get out. I got to ask you something." I knew what he was going to ask me. I said, "Okay, Brad, go ahead." And he said, "I'm going to ask Alice to marry me." I said, "Will you love her as much as I do?" He said, "Absolutely." I said, "Then ask her." I said, "Because if you don't love her as much as I do, then I'm not going to give you permission. But if you do, then you got my permission." So anyway, I'm thrilled with Brad and Alice and the family and everybody that's here tonight. And we're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to have a great time tomorrow. And we're going to have, 40, 50 years, Brad? Isn't that what you committed to me?
At least.
I mean, this is a long-term lease. I don't sign over the lease. I mean, this deal's like signed in blood. It's not a short-term lease. I mean, if I sign her over to you, it's like a lifetime.
That's right.
Anyway, getting to know everybody. My family's here. My Aunt Betty's here. Uh-oh, I saw her duck when I said that. She's the last member of my mom's family that's alive, and I'm just thrilled that she's here with us tonight. I'm thrilled that everybody's here. I'm thrilled Scotty's here and Brad's family's here. I love all you guys. And the band, I don't know if they get paid by the minute or by the hour, but they've been on a hell of a long break. And I got my... I'm not complaining yet, but I will complain later because I got my dancing boots on. I got my genuine alligators on, and they getting ready to crawl through the swamp. So anyway, thank y'all all for being here. We love everybody. We're going to have a great time tonight. We're going to have a great time tomorrow. I've got the most fantastic family that's ever existed, and extended family. It just got bigger, and that's always better. The bigger, the better.
That's right.
All right, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Red. Anyone else? Carol? I'll let you have the floor.
Well, Brad, I spent a lot of time along with the rest of your friends looking at the pictures of you and of Alice as you know, moments of your life that brought you to this point. And honestly, when I think about my family, I can't think of many things or many times when you weren't a part of it. I don't remember the exact day, but I will never forget the impact that you've had on my family, ever. And the promise I guess I'll make to you, Alice, is that we will love you as much as we love Brad, okay? Brad has always been a part of our life, it feels like. And what I wish for you, Brad, is I hope for you that many years from now, that some young man will take a liking to your family and love Alice and tolerate you, much like you loved Tammy and tolerated me. Okay? There's been so many times I think I look at our Superman fishing trips. I think about the time you carried contraband onto a U.S. government installation. Actually, that was my brother's jacket and my brother's jacket. So anyway, that is true. To my knowledge, that was not his. I will tell you that. But Brad, I wish you many years of happiness, and I hope that someday you're calling a young man while you're sitting on the beach starving, and I hope that they will bring you your food. I love you, and I wish you nothing but happiness and a full house.
Thank you, Daryl.
All right, I'm Katie. I'm Alice's sister, for those who don't know, and I've got to have my notes. I don't really wing it on this kind of thing. So I first heard about Brad from Brian, my husband, who it ended up being a theme throughout Alice and Brad's relationship that Brian was always giving me the information about them, because Brad and Brian, the true love story here, talk on the phone every single day. Brian knew every single thing about their relationship way before me. He was informing me of when they started dating and if they held hands and every little thing like that. So, which kind of annoyed me because I felt like Alice and I were really close, and that kind of trumped that. But apparently Brian and Brad are closer, so you'll hear more about that later from Brian, I'm sure. Let's see. So Brian and Brad met through real estate. Brian came home one day talking about this guy that he wanted to introduce Alice to. He's so great, went on and on about him. And I said, well, what's his name? He said, Brad Lyles. I said, wait a second. I know Bradley Lyles. Is that who you're talking about? He grew up with us. He went to Croft. And Brian's like, I don't know. And so we looked him up, and it was Bradley Lyles that we remembered from Croft. He didn't remember me and Alice, not one bit, but we remembered him coming to Croft all the time. Anyways, I think it took some convincing before Alice went out with him. I don't know how many times you asked her out before she agreed. What's that, 5? But my favorite story about that is when he asked her to go to Pelican Snowballs, and her reaction was, no thank you, but I'll keep you in mind. Like, probably the worst date refusal I've ever heard, but it's creative and I like it, so I thought that was good. So anyways, Alice was with me and Brian one night. We were headed to RJ Rockers, and she thought that would be the perfect time to call Brad last minute. We're on our way there, and say, hey, do you want to meet us at RJ Rockers? And he did. And now that I know Brad, I know that he is the busiest person on the planet. And so he must have dropped everything he had that afternoon, showed up at RJ Rockers, just, ready to hang out. And so here we are with all of our married friends. All of us have kids, and not with us, but we all have kids. And so our conversations were basically centered around mattresses, sleep training, potty training, things like that. And Brad, he hung in there. We were impressed. I think everybody afterwards was like, Brad's a good guy, that was a tough conversation. First date, we end up at cribs, like sitting everybody across from their significant other, and here's Brad and Alice, who first time they've ever hung out, and we're having these discussions. So I feel like I learned 2 things about Brad that night. He's persistent, very persistent, and also he's very adaptable. He was, he's easy to get along with. He's able to just carry on conversation with whoever. But I feel like now that I know you better, that is still true, and if not more so. All right, so Brad, I've got a few things that I want to tell you about Alice. Things that I've learned about Alice, growing up with her, living with her, sharing a room with her, things you might need to know if you're going to share a room with Alice. I'm going to try not to be too long-winded. I'm really trying to wrap this up, but Alice is the loudest human you will ever meet in your life. And she doesn't appear that way. She's so cute and sweet, but she is so loud. Not only are like the heels of her feet the loudest noise you've ever heard when she walks, but she talks so loud. Brian has always said that he can hear Alice on the phone with me. I'll be outside coming in the house, not on speakerphone. You don't need speakerphone with Alice, but he can tell who I'm on the phone with before I even get in the house. He's like, how is she so loud? The other day, Alice and I were working out, and somehow her jumps are way louder than my jumps. I don't know what it is. She's a loud person, even though she doesn't seem like it. You should know that. This one's my favorite. Alice is easily startled and scared. Every sound is an intruder. Every sound. And not only that, but Brad, you can use this however you want. It worked in my advantage as a kid, but I could just give Alice this look in the mirror, and she'd have nightmares about me for a week. That I was a redheaded puppet standing over her bed. And I don't know why. I don't think I'm that scary, but that's all it takes. That's what I'm telling you. Alice is easily terrified. Also, she will forget, anybody that spends a night with her knows this too, she will forget that you're in the bed with her, and she wakes up screaming bloody murder about somebody being in the bed with her. Dad has had to come in there so many times, like, thinking something terrible's happening. I'm like, Alice, it's me. Like, you were awake when we went to sleep. Like, I'm in here with you. So be prepared for that. It's normal-ish. And then everybody that knows Alice loves to have a good time. She's so lighthearted. She makes anything fun. It could be the most day-to-day activity. Alice is going to bring laughter and fun. And Brian always says, too, I keep bringing up Brian, but that we laugh like little schoolgirls when we're together. And it's so true, but it's not just me. I've seen my grandmother. Alice will get her laughing like that. Ashley, Caitlin, Amanda. Like, it's just an effect that Alice has. She just brings a lot of fun to a situation. And then this is something that I really admire about Alice. It's a good thing. I'll finish it up with some of that. Alice is so giving with her time. I feel like she's really unselfish in that regard. Like, that's something that I think is the hardest thing to give of yourself is your time. And Alice is really giving of that. She always makes time for me and my kids and never seems like it's an inconvenience. So that's something I really admire about her. And I was going to try not to rhyme, but I threw that in the bucket. So everybody, raise your glasses and have a good time, and we can all thank God that she kept him in mind.
I figured I better go after Katie here. She gave me a green light here, so I wrote everything down so I didn't forget anything, Brad. I've been waiting on this for about 2 years. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Brian. I'm Katie's husband and Alice's brother-in-law, and tomorrow I'll be Brad's brother-in-law. And I introduced them. Brad, first I want to say that I'll keep going, sorry. Put a lot of thought in this, all right? It's got to be perfect because it's been 2 years that I've been waiting on this because I had this planned out for a while. But I met Brad as a realtor. Kathy, his mom, actually introduced us. And she was like, y'all need to be friends. Y'all would have a lot in common and all this. And I was kind of like, okay, And Brad was probably the same way, kind of like, yeah, we just met each other or whatever. And but then she was right. It came true. So Brad sold a house that I had listed. We talked a little bit, and Alice was single, and I went, this guy's a pretty good guy. I mean, maybe he'd be a good fit. And Alice and Katie, for those of you that know them, they're inseparable, pretty much. They talk every day, hang out. Not as much as me and Brad, but they talk every day. So I put 2 and 2 together. It took me a while, but I thought, whoever Alice marries, I'm going to be spending a lot of time with this guy. So started looking into Brad a little bit, figuring out, what kind of boxes he checks on my brother-in-law list, and he checked pretty much all of them. Nice guy, into real estate, athletic, and he liked Alice, so that was a good box and all that. But so I passed on Alice's number to him, which I've never done. that was the only time I've ever done that. One time, so nothing really happened. I was kind of like, man, what's going on? Yeah, this needs to happen a little faster. You know, I need this. I need this. You know, and so anyways, we were talking again, and Brad was like, yeah, what was her name? And and he ended up looking her up on Facebook. I'm sorry, no, it wasn't. Anyways, so I reminded him of it, and you got him back, Alice, by turning him down 5 times. So. But he looked her up on Facebook, and it was real quick. He went, "Oh yeah, I'll call her." and that's all it took. Where am I here? All right, and then after they started dating was when I noticed I had Katie and I's marriage had kind of a shift in power. Like I kind of felt like I knew a little more than she did, and it was pretty enticing. And So anyways, Katie sent me a text one time and said, Alice and Brad are dating. And I went, yeah, I already knew that. And she said, what? How do you know this already? All I said was, get used to it. Brad and I probably talked every day since. And then I'll wrap it up by saying that obviously Brad's a great guy. He hit the jackpot with Alice though, and Alice, I want you to know that you are precious to me and Katie, and I really do think I picked a good one for you. Okay. I'm looking forward to talking to Brad every day from now on. I hope that keeps happening. Both families are great. Brad, you'll really learn learn. You already learned, but you'll love to appreciate the Lancasters like I have, and all the good times we have, the beach, going to the farm, all the holiday events that we do, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with you on that. And that's about it. But you hit the jackpot, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, y'all need to understand that when Brian started dating Katie, Katie was in Charleston going to grad school. Brian would call me up, I get them confused. Brian would call me up and said, are you cooking steaks tonight? I said, yes, I'm gonna come over. And Brian used to sleep on my sofa. And I had a 1976 Honda Civic that got like 55 miles to the gallon.
I stole it a few times.
And Brian said, can I drive that car down to Charleston and see your daughter? But anyway, he told me about Brad. And Brad was in real estate. And I said, I know Brad. I know Bradley. I met him 40 years ago. I remember when he was this big. And he said, yeah, but he loves Alice. Brad listed a house next to Alice's house. And he turned the sign so that every day when Alice drove out of her driveway, she had to see a picture of him. Brad Lyles, real estate. Alice comes and said, Daddy, he's freaking me out. He's got this sign right next to my driveway. Every time I pull out the driveway, it says, call Brad Lyles. I thought, get as far away from him as you can. He's sick. But Brian persisted. He said, Brad's a really nice guy. I said, I knew him when he was about that big. But anyway, we're thrilled to have Brad in the family. If he makes it another 24 hours, that is. Because, tonight they said, who gives this woman to this man? I said, I'm reconsidering. But I'm not. But anyway, we're thrilled to have everybody here. Thank y'all for being here. Thank Brian he's a matchmaker. And we couldn't be more pleased.
Hi, I'm Spencer.
I'm Amber.
Sorry. I'm Blair. So we've been friends with Alice for a while, since probably before we could drive, or maybe actually it was since Alice was our chauffeur. So we were very thankful for her November birthday. And one thing that brought us all together was our very prestigious first job at good old Zaxby's. It only took them one trial of having us back in the kitchen breading fingers for them to ban us to cashier and dining room duty only. But we thought we were awesome because we were making money, that whopping $5 minimum wage, and we could put gas in our cars and be independent teenagers. Well, a lot has changed since Zaxby's. We've gone to school, got jobs, bought houses, and while some of us have found our Mr. Right, we always knew that Alice was holding out for someone really special. You see, Alice is... I'm trying. Alice is not just another fish in the sea. She is one of the most kind-hearted, generous, and loving people we know. While everyone she meets becomes her friend, we knew that not just anyone was going to be able to walk her down the aisle. Until we met Brad.
From E.P. Todd Elementary to Carver Junior High, soccer games, French class, Spartanburg High School Orchestra to now, when you've known a friend as long as we've all known each other, you notice the little things about them. You started it. Like when they're the happiest you've ever seen them. There's something really beautiful about the glow that Alice has with Brad. A very special glow that can't stop smiling and a happiness that will always be there.
So as I thought of what to say, I was flooded with memories from beach trips to skipping school and having boot camp. That was our consequence, although we spent the night together the night before, to surprising Julie and Red about becoming townhouse roommates, and to you becoming the godmother of my sweet Jennings. Alice, I think that it's safe to say that these memories and your friendship are irreplaceable. You did start it. That's not funny. As many times as we've read through this together, too. The prayers that have gone into today, though, are numerous. And I just love the way that they've been answered to perfection with Brad. Since our sophomore year spring break, we've all dreamed of what this day would look like, especially Alice. She dreamed to the point of acting out her wedding in an extra large white t-shirt that was a work crew shirt from Young Life that said, I don't know why I remember this, got work. And so we decided that we would make you a real marriage shirt that you could wear, this t-shirt. And Brad, we decided we would not leave you out of this either, out of this great memory. So we have you t-shirts tonight that you both can wear as you board the plane tomorrow, or Sunday, not tomorrow, don't leave tomorrow, as you board the plane on Sunday, and we hope you'll sport them for years to come. So I cannot tell you how happy I am to be a part of this dream come true.
And we are all so grateful to be a part of this special time. We can't wait for tomorrow and wish you the most happiness for a lifetime together as Mr. and Miss Loud. Cheers! Cheers.
Hey y'all. So in case y'all don't know me, I'm Brady Scott, one of Brad's best friends. Got my notes here because I'm a little nervous getting up in front of y'all. But so I've known Brad since 7th grade when he moved from Oak Brook to Dawkins, came to Dawkins, everyone thought he was going to be an NFL first rounder. Massive kid, bigger than anyone. I don't know what happened between 8th and 9th grade, but it all stopped. So, but we became friends in 7th grade, and I remember sitting in Miss Sills' class, science class. I took his class too. I did all the science class stuff for him. Took that class. Not much has changed. Even in college, I took a straight class for him. I know. No, it was an online class at SWU. He said he was going to pay me. I still haven't seen any payment on that. But, so, over the years, there's been a lot of good stories. If you want to hear some really good ones, wait till about 5:30, 5:45 tomorrow, and I'll let you know those. But Alice, here's some things that I picked up on Brad over the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years, whatever it's been. So he likes to be different, and he loves a good adventure. So whether that be wearing skinny jeans, if you can picture Brad in skinny jeans and Vans,
The red Vans.
or attempting to grow dreadlocks. That worked until his mom offered him a bike, and then he cut his hair off and took the bike. Or biking from Seneca all the way to Georgetown. I don't know why you would do that. It's stupid, you have a car. Or like when we were in Key West, sleeping on a 20-foot scout boat, 30 miles off. That was his idea, by the way. Luckily, it was my boat, so we opted out on that one. He loves meeting new people and can literally talk to anyone. So he literally could go make conversation with that wall over there. Something I can't do, but he can. And like everyone else has said, he's stubborn and he's persistent. And he likes a challenge. So that leads me to Alice. So a few summers ago, like I mentioned earlier, Brad and I and my family, we took a trip to Key West. So we talked about two things the whole trip. We talked about fishing, and we talked about Alice. So he'd only been on one date with her, and he wouldn't shut up. Kept talking about her. Kept trying to get that second date. Kept trying. I said it took 5 times. She kept politely turning him down.
It wasn't very polite.
Well, the way Brad said it was very politely. He was trying to save face.
I can change the story.
So he finally got that second date and many more, but it wasn't without a few awkward calls that Brad would hit me up at the late at night about some handshake they had in the car. Reaching over, trying to hold her hand, and she returns with a handshake. He's like, man, I don't know if she likes me. Or the other one where he's walking her to the door, turns around, door's not shut, walks off. She's got some rocks in the pathway. He trips over and he farts. He wasn't sure if she heard it or anything. She actually didn't, but she knows now. So there was a point in time where Brad was like, I don't know if she likes me. Let me find my place real quick. Hang on. So regardless of the few awkward moments, I don't think Brad could have found a more perfect match. Someone ready to go on all his crazy adventures, to try new things, and he always lets him be himself. I don't think I can remember a time when Brad was ever been as happy and grounded as he is with Alice, and I can't wait to see a future that holds for y'all, and wish y'all the best. Love y'all.
My name's Walden Lacey, and I've known Brad for 6 or 7 years, but I'm actually very angry right now. Reason I'm very angry is I think I'm a good guy. I'm also in real estate, and I'm pretty athletic myself. So I'm pissed at Brian Burnett right now, but that's another thing. I want everyone that has known Brad for a while, probably more specifically men, raise your hand if you have a Brad Lyle story. If you just know you got a Brad Lyle story. Okay, now raise your hand again if it almost involves death or decapitation, which leads to death. Yep, that's all of us in here. But Brad's a story maker. And when I met Brad at first, we weren't too fond of each other. And when I say we weren't too fond of each other, I mean he didn't like me, and that means I had to hate him too. And we drew the short straw one night because Mitch had to study and my other friend had to study, and he asked me to dinner. And I said, well, that's mighty queer of you, but I'll go to dinner anyway. So we off to dinner, and we go to Loose Change in Clemson, South Carolina. And I'll never forget, we walked in, he said, oh man, I know the bartender tonight. I said, yeah, I bet you do. I'm 19 years old. You're going to get me arrested tonight, aren't you? He said, no, I promise. I know the bartender. You can order whatever you want. So we get up, and he said, I'll have a Crown and Coke, please. And I got all nervous and water. And he looked at me like I was insane. He said, boy, I told you I know the bartender. And he yelled across, and he said, that boy right there have a Jack and Coke. And she brought me a Jack and Coke, and we've been friends ever since. But there's many stories I can tell you here tonight. But the thing I'm most excited for Brad and Alice is the stories they're going to make in the future. The stories they've already experienced and the life ahead of them. And I'm just excited that we all get to be a part of it, and that I get to stand up there beside them and support the stories here to come. So thank y'all for being here. And thank you, Brad and Alice.
Brad and Alice, I love y'all so much. Brad, an absolute brother to me. I've lived with you in 3-4 different houses that you bought. Thank you for giving me low rent everywhere. I called him my slumlord. I probably shouldn't call him that, but no, he really did house me all through high school and even after. But man, I love you guys. You have found a woman that's so intentional. First time I met you, Alice, you like just dove into my life and just wanted to know everything about me. And it's just been so loving and caring to get to know you. Brad, like they said, there's countless stories, and I've been there for too many of them to count. Biked across the state of South Carolina with you. That was stupid. We did it twice. Couldn't feel our legs for days. Fishing trips, swamp trips. You've introduced me to things I never thought I'd do. And man, I'm excited for those, but I'm more excited for what you and Alice have. I just hope you guys can find joy in all the adventures that life has to offer. I love you guys so much. Thank you for letting us be a part of this.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm Chelsea Emery. I'm Brad's cousin. Alice, thank you for loving him, and I prayed for someone like you. I know my mom and dad prayed for someone like you too, and I know Aunt Kathy did too. And we love you, and you just jumped right into our family too. And I told him he would be dumb not to pursue you. He called me countless times of, is this right? Is this what I should be doing? And every time I said yes, absolutely. I knew you were perfect for him when he first told me about you. And I'm really happy for you both. And Bradley, you're my cousin, but you've been more like a brother my whole life. You would pick me up from school my 9th grade year. I'm pretty sure John Bond was in the truck every time. You taught me all the words to All Star by Smash Mouth. You helped me create my first screen name. Papa and my dad would make us play one-on-one basketball to make me better. Mama Jane would fuss at you for messing with Caitlin and I. You helped me learn how to flip underwater in your pool. And we used to have holding our breath contests, but you would always win. You taught me how to have fun and not to worry so much. You helped me find confidence in myself when I didn't have it. You've always been in my corner. You've always been family, but a best friend too. You were there in high school and dragged me to Young Life with you. And in college too, when I took you to FCA dances. And you'd drive your moped over to my apartment and help me carry in my groceries. You have always been there, and I'm grateful for that, and I love you, and I'm really happy for you both. And Neely would like me to say that she would like some more cousins very soon. But I'm happy for you both, and I'm glad that I'm here and a part of this. I love you.
These are all really tough acts to follow. I kept waiting for a good moment. There's not going to be one, so I'm just going to go ahead and go. Hi, my name's Chris Bobo. I've known Brad well since our freshman year of college. I've got notes. I may or may not use them. I can't decide. Brad and I met through a mutual friend, and our first real experience together was on a camping trip. And I have absolutely no camping experience whatsoever. I sat at home, played video games in high school. So we go out on this camping trip, and we wake up freezing in the middle of the night and get up and start making bacon. And I managed to catch my Xbox sleeping pants on fire. It was a fantastic start to what would become a long-term relationship. So ever since that moment, Brad has joked with my wife Alyssa and I about how we're going to have to send our kids to Brad camp because they're not going to know anything that matters if we don't let them hang out with him for a couple weeks and learn about fishing and hunting and all these important things. So I can't wait one day for our kids to go to Brad and Alice camp. So on a serious note, I count it one of my greatest joys to be a part of Brad's life. He is, as you all know well, he is just an impactful person. And I have never met anyone else who I think embodies the attitude of Christ in every moment of every day, from the standpoint of just loving everyone he's ever met and meaning it. He takes good care of his own, and I'm proud to be one of his own. Alice, I think you've got a lot to look forward to. And Alyssa and I have been praying. She always says we've been praying for his princess for a long time, and we're glad that he found that in you. So I hope y'all have the best, and we love you guys.
Come on up here. I didn't either. I'm Steven. I'm Alice's brother, little brother. They won't ever let me forget that. Alice was my closest sibling growing up. We were really tight growing up. I could always share anything with Alice. Like any problem I ever had, she was the one I would go to. You know, I could always pull her aside and talk to her about things that matter. I feel like I haven't been around enough. I feel like I haven't gotten to meet or get to know Brad as well. And I've spent so much time with Alice growing up. I've gotten to know her so well. I'm just so happy to have you as a part of the family, Brad, and can't wait to get to know you better.
I'm the big brother. Not too terribly big. So I'm Katie's big brother, right? Alice's big brother. And Alice, whenever I'm around you, which isn't enough anymore, especially now that we're so far away, it's always joyful. It's always giggles and laughs and funny answers to questions, and I can't breathe after you start laughing, and it just all falls apart. And you are a joy to be around. And I love just your girlfriends are just so sweet and kind, and they're joyful, and it's just a great group. And so you got a lot of great support around you. We've known Brad, from the Cross days, so it's been, most of my life that I've known Brad. But played basketball against him a little bit at Roebuck, and it wasn't really just playing some casual basketball. And then, Brian was talking to me about Bradley, and I think this is a good guy. I think this would be a good guy for Alice to date and stuff like that. And it's turned out to be a wonderful thing. And so tonight you got my dad's approval, which is a pretty cool thing to get. You got my approval. I told you that when we were snowmobiling. But you got Brian Burnett's approval. You got the stamp of approval, man. That's a big deal. So, man, we're so glad to have you in the family. And just love on her. Just hold her close and just love on her like I know you will. And we're excited for y'all's life ahead.
come with me. All right, anyone else want to go? We're gonna end this, and the band can start playing again because Rhett's pretty mad they haven't been playing. Very mad. The man likes to get down. All right, so we got like 35 minutes. You boys hear it? All right, we lost them.
They're right over here.
Oh, they're hiding in the shelter. All right, good. All right, oh, there's still food in the house. They're going for it. All right, good deal. Hey guys, we appreciate you guys being here tonight. This group right here, these are our closest friends and our closest family, and we just wanted to have you here tonight to be an intimate group, to get to know each other, and to come out here and obviously support us. Alice is a huge part of my life now, and I'm so thankful for people who introduced me to her. We'll go ahead and give the credit to Brian Burnett for that. Any comments? All right, so no more comments about that, so we'll move on. Friends and family, from the time I met Alice, it just resonated how important friends and family were. Just the way she talked about her mom and dad, her brother and sister, and then her friends, Spencer and Blair and Amber, and so on. So we appreciate you guys saying a little bit tonight. But those also mean so much to me, my family and my friends. If there's anything I've been blessed with in this life, is the Lord blessed me with the best friends and family you could ask for. Some of the best adventures. I remember hanging out with my friends, whether it was beach trips with Daryl and Tammy and Megan and her friends and Tyler. To biking across the state of South Carolina with Mitch several times. To going to the swamp with Scotty and friends. Taking my friends, Neil. All those adventures we got to experience together. Those were highs in my life. Until I met Alice. I met Alice, and we'd been dating, and to start this off, the first time I ever called Alice, I was driving down Highway 9 on a Sunday afternoon after meeting a client in Bowling Springs, and I'm about to get off at 176 and drive back home, and I guess a good song came on the radio. And I said, man, I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm going to call this girl and ask her on a date. She answered the phone. I was like, oh, crap. I said, hey, Alice, my name's Brad Lyles. Brian Burnett told me about you, and I'd like to take you on a date. She said, yeah, that's great. I'll keep you in mind, but I ain't going with you. Get on the Pine Street and just head on home. Well, I said, oh, boy, I don't know how this is going to go. Called Brian Monday morning asking, man, I thought you liked me, but I didn't know you were trying to sabotage me. That's how it went. The second time I called, she said, yeah, a group of friends are going to RJ Rockers in the Cribs tonight. Would you like to come? I said, man, yeah, I'd like to come. I got a meeting, but I'll cancel it. I show up, it's Brian and Katie's friends and Alice. They're all talking about how much they're going to pay the babysitter tonight. I said, boy, I better fit in quick. I thought Allison had a great night. That was on a Thursday night. Work went by well on Friday. Texted her, told her I had a good time. No response. Sunday came around. I said, just got done cutting the grass after church. Man, let's see if Alice wants to go to that new Pelicans place. We'll have a good icy. I texted her. I said, hey, Alice, you want to go to the icy place? She texted back and said, no, sorry, I'm helping my mom keep my niece and nephew, and they're a handful. I said, well, that's fine. Maybe we can go another night this week, ? No response. Well, this ain't going as planned, fellas. But lo and behold, I got to take this girl on the most awesome date in the world. I got to go with Hannah and Trevor, some of our dear friends. And I really thought that one went great, so I asked her out again, and she went. And after that, I think it was a wrap. But anyway, just Alice embodies everything you could ever ask in a woman. The way she loves her family, the way she loves Jesus Christ, and the way she loves her friends, and how hard she works. Sometimes I mean, it can't go unnoticed how hard this girl works every day in and day out, for whatever hospital it may be. She's fully invested. So I just appreciate you guys being here tonight. I love each and every one of you. Like I said, these are our closest friends and family. We couldn't ask for better. So we appreciate you. And I'm going to hand the microphone to Alice.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I didn't know how to say anything.
She don't want to talk to y'all, so we'll... No, I'm just kidding.
I just love everyone here, and I'm just so happy that we have, like Brad said, the closest people in our lives. That's who we wanted here, and we're just beyond blessed that God gave us each and every one of y'all, and we're just excited for this weekend. So.
All right. All right, I already see the band moving, so they know it's time to earn their money, so let's go.
Y'all put your hands together one more time for Brad and Alice. We appreciate y'all being here. And unfortunately, I have no idea of this hourly or minute pay schedule because, you guessed it, I'm a real estate agent. Y'all are cooler than the other side of the pillow. We were born before the wind, also younger than the sun. Yeah, the body and boat was one as we sailed into the misty. Hark now, hear the sailors cry. Smell the sea and you feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly down to the mystic. Oh, when the foghorn blows, you know I will be coming home. Yeah, when the foghorn blows, I wanna hear it. I don't have to hear it. I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. And together we will flow into the mystic. Foghorn blue, you know I will be coming home. Yeah, when the foghorn whistle blows, I wanna hear it. No, I don't have to fear it. I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. foghorn blows, you know I will be coming home. Yeah, when the foghorn whistle blows, I'm gonna hear it. No, I don't have to feel it. I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. And together we'll flow into the mystic. Well, come on, girl. It's too late to stop us now. It's too late to stop us now. It's too late to stop us now. Mr. David Rice on the sax, y'all. Thank you so much for having us with the Justin McCorkle Band. We're a lot like the Marshall Tucker Band. There ain't none of us named Justin McCorkle. What's that? Well, it is of my professional opinion that this would not be a proper wedding if we didn't do this. So we're gonna play you one. All right, I guess it's gonna be a proper wedding now. So. gonna find me a hole in the wall. I'm gonna crawl inside and out. Come a lady house, I said, me no one more, yeah. She told me no 5 whole times. Can't you see? Can't you see what that woman depend on me? Can't you see? Can't you see what that woman depend on me? Representing the big city of Mayo, South Carolina on the bass, y'all, Mr. David Putnam. From Marietta, South Carolina on the lead guitar and the vocals, Mr. David Danielson, everybody. I want y'all to get real loud for me right here, okay? From the west side of Spartanburg, South Carolina. The man, the little legend on the drums, Mr. Michael Johnson, everybody. I'm from Pauline, South Carolina. My name's Justin McCorkle. Thank y'all so much for having me.